Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amber. This is Fundy Freed. In today's video, I want to talk about signs that you are in a cult, just from my lived experience and my perspective of being in cult-like churches. And I want to see how many you guys relate to. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Comment if you wish to. I love hearing all the feedback. Still doing the 500, I almost did this, 500 subscriber challenge where I do the hot spicy things while doing trivia and all that fun stuff. If you'd like to see that. All the fun introductory things are done. Let's get into today's video. Today, it's gonna be something short, something I like to talk about and give examples to, because I have a lot of people who ask me, what made you think you were in a cult? What made you realize you were in a cult? What are all these things that were signs of cult behavior? Because whenever we think of cults, we think of like Jim Jones, we think of Heaven's Gate, we think of the Branch Davidians, FLDS with Warren Jeffs. There's like a lot of things that come to mind whenever we think cults, right? What's fascinating about cults to me are that they all have something very much in common. And I know that there's actually been tons of research put out here. I just wanted to talk about examples of how it was cult-ish behavior in my experience. Number one was the loss of autonomy. The biggest thing that I have found in especially IFB churches, and if you've had similar experiences, please comment below, let me know. Whenever you go into these types of churches, you will notice that they all dress very similarly. Most of the men have the same hairstyle. Most of the women wear their hair very much the same. And this is because they believe that they are peculiar people set aside to be an example to the world by how they dress and how they live their life. So whenever you go in, the first thing you would start hearing is messages on how you should dress, how you should do your hair, how you should live your life. Humans, we want to belong. So whenever we go into this group setting and these people are so nice and they're so nice and sweet, we want to be a part of this collective, right? That's just how we are as humans. And so to belong, we all, even as adults, fall under peer pressure, and we will start changing things about ourselves to fit into our peer group or into the group or social group that we want to be in. Over time, you lose your identity in how you express your clothing and how you do your hair. Your speech becomes very identical to them. I can honestly tell you, I can walk into any church and know exactly what to say to win them all over, because it's always the same formula, the same word soup that people who with bad intentions use to convince other people that are very unaware and very naive. So they start telling you that you are no longer individual, you are part of a family. So the church becomes your family. You are expected to give them the same love and support, cadence, all the things that you would to your own blood relatives, because this is actually your spiritual family, which is more important than your blood family, because they at times will expect you to cut off blood family to stay inside that collective. This is one of the many ways I've seen autonomy be pulled. Women tend to lose their autonomy the most because men still are able to have careers. Many churches will dictate if they can work on Sundays or not. Most men have a pretty wide open space to explore what their career options are and to be the breadwinner of their house. Now, women, on the other hand, are told you cannot work. The only thing that you are supposed to do is be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen and raising the children, homeschooling the children. So your identity is completely stripped away into these offices of work that are called your ministries, that you're told that you're called to just because of your gender. So that kind of pulls that autonomy away. The next thing that they tend to do is to isolate you. Isolation comes in the form of the world out there is never going to love you the way that we do. Out there is just, it's Egypt. You're going back to Egypt. It's just mud and mire and sinful and evil, and they're all out there to get you. And they start turning anybody outside of those four walls into us versus them. It doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't matter if it's family, if it's friends that you've had, it does not matter. If they are outside of these four walls, they are your enemy because they are of the world. Somehow has to also coincide, we're supposed to be a witness to them and save them from hell. Like there's like a whole cognitive dissonance issue there. But in isolation, they will start pulling you away from everything on the outside. I remember being in such fear of being around people with tattoos that if I was walking through a grocery store, I would literally move out away from them and go and like give them a wide berth so I didn't have to get close to them. That was because I was told people with tattoos are very mean. They'll do bad things to girls. There's just all this stuff they instilled in us. We were taught the only people that we can trust are the people in our congregation and those who follow the faith exactly as we do. And in this isolation, they also bring in only one Bible that you're supposed to read. That's it. And that Bible, although the pastor says, please read it for yourself, what he really is saying, read it the way that I tell you to read it so you get the same interpretation I do, because I'm right, you're wrong. I'm the man of God. There's no way that you could convince me otherwise. I know what I'm saying. This is my job. So many people, I did this myself. I would go home and I would read the Bible and I'd read it through the IFB lens and go, yep, pastor's right. He's right on with everything, which is not okay. Another thing that they will do is number 3 is financial dependence. They insist on the 10% tithe, which is not scriptural. They will ask you to bring in 10%. They will also then ask for more money for building funds, for this, that, and the other. Yes, I understand churches do not run for free. I get that. But there is a difference between people paying in tithe because they believe that they need to keep the church going and being told that they have to, otherwise it's a sin and God's not going to bless them. I've been in churches where they've asked you to give 90% of your tithe one month and live off 10% the rest of the month because God would bless you for giving 90% of your money. I have seen pastors pass out the offering plates during revivals and camp meetings, and it go through like 400 people, and he would go to the front and he would say, that's not enough, let's keep the offering going, and send that tithing plates back out, or the offering plates back out. In controlling someone's money and tying their money in with their spirituality, you're very much able to control them, because if they truly believe that they're not going to be blessed unless they give X amount of money, then they will go destitute, giving to the church with full belief and intention that God's going to give it back to them tenfold. It's manipulation and it's really bad. Another way financially they get people dependent on the church is they bring in people, and they have people in the church that have all different skill sets, right? So you have mechanics, you have carpenters, you have plumbers, you have nurses, you have hairdressers, you have all of these professions in the church. In a way of doing that, you then can go to Sally for piano lessons for your daughter, and you can go to Bill over here to come look at your car, and he'll do it for cheaper, and he'll do it honestly because he's a Christian. And you develop relationships with these people, and you get to where you're dependent very heavily on the people in the church. So if you ever leave, you not only lose your social circle, you also lose your mechanic, your hairdresser, your piano teacher, your everything else. And so this makes it very difficult for people to leave once they have lost that autonomy and they've been isolated so much and they have this financial dependence inside of these churches. Stepping away is not just as easy as going, I'm not going here anymore, because it comes with a lot of fallout. Another sign that you're in a cult, for in my lived experience, is that they have the ability to control your behavior outside of the church building. So they can say, don't go to the movie theater, and you won't. simply because you're worried that someone might see you at the movie theater. Or women don't wear pants, so you never even wear sweatpants at home because what if someone comes over and sees you in a pair of pants? Don't have these types of movies. So you either A, you don't have the movies, or you hurry and hide them, which is what my dad did, and close up the cupboard whenever people come over from church. And that sets up for a life of hypocrisy because people are going to do what they desire to do and what they want to do, especially if they don't have a true personal conviction over it. And if it's constantly preached and badgered from the pulpit that this is how you live and this is what you have to do, it is going to build up resentment and bitterness and anger. And you're going to have just very genuinely unhappy people, which of course then you are guilted into this behavior, into feeling bad for this behavior because you shouldn't be angry or bitter because God has blessed you. So whenever you are so involved in all of these things and you have no way to leave, and if you cannot amicably leave without causing a big rift at all, that is just so many red flags that you're in a cult-like environment. Once all of these things are established, I've seen just the amount of spiritual abuse that comes from a pulpit is just astronomical, to the point where men are dictated what type of frames of glasses that they have or what colors they can wear, and women are, measured by the pastor's wives on their skirts to make sure their skirts are long enough. And that's not Christianity. That is not spirituality. That's not liberty in Christ in any stretch of the imagination. That is all oppression and abuse, because God wants us to live happily and free in the liberty that he gives us. And how can we live free and happy if all of what he has made us to be is completely stripped away and we are cookie cutter these things? Like I said, this was a very quick video today. I just wanted to hop on here and just talk about my view and different things of signs that I've seen that create cult-like behavior, and that could be that you're in a cult or you've left a cult. And if you've experienced this or experienced more, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know below what you have experienced in churches. I would love to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so that YouTube knows you like me. And don't forget the 500 subscriber challenge. If you have your own story that you'd like to submit, the instructions in the description box below. Until next time, my friends, everyone has a story. What is yours?